German now. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I can't go live. There we go.
That's fine.
It wasn't letting me go live on Instagram. Hello, Graham fam. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. The rock music.
I love picturing you as like in your little like DJ vibe and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna pump that. I'm just gonna like turn that up to 11 and just put it right there.
Robin Hendricks has joined us over on the Graham fam. Good morning, Robin. Thanks for joining us for Social Surge. Today we are talking about something that I happened to see on Instagram, and I shared it with Fly.
I did watch it.
And I said, we have to talk about this because it is something that we have talked about before. And it is about, hold on, I'm trying to type and talk at the same time, which just is not working because I'm trying to do Robin's actual, her actual handle. I'm like, yeah. Let's try to make sure we type this in properly. So it was an interesting video posted by VaynerX. If you're not following them on Instagram, good stuff, good content. That's one of Gary Vaynerchuk's.
The most important conversation we're having. Sorry, made it loud. Yeah, VaynerX. Yeah, and they have multiple accounts too that they will like post different things on, and like do the collab posts to like share among audiences, which I always highly recommend, of course.
Good morning, Regalata Real Estate, and so the point of the video was talking about paid, owned, and earned media and how the model for distribution of content or how to get your message out there for many years has been paid, owned, and earned. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to break down what those things mean and why they're talking about the model actually changing to owned, earned, and then paid. And Gary Vaynerchuk's talked about this. He's talked about this for years about how every company is now a media company, right? And when he first said that, probably like, I don't know, 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
It was kind of mind-blowing. But when you start thinking about, and what I was working in at the time, we were creating a bunch of content. We were trying to get more video content. And so, yes, every company right now is a media company because you're trying to attract attention, and attention is the currency. The more attention you get, the more people pay attention to you, the more that you, oh, look at Dwayne is joining us on LinkedIn.
Moneypenny's here too.
And Moneypenny's here from Denver, I believe, right? She's out in Denver?
I think so.
Or maybe she was just kicking it in Denver. She could have just been like,
let us know in the chat. But yeah, and an update too, just to, I think the contextualization of there you are is, yes, we, as of this week, have moved our time to 6 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, global. I don't know. We are in all time. But yes, go on. Vaynerchuk, owned media, make a bunch of content. Go on.
Right. So every company right now is a media company. And if you're not making content, then you are, you're really being left behind and your messaging isn't getting out there. I think for some odd reason, the one thing that's popping into my head right now is the guy from, I believe he's in New Mexico. And this was during COVID. And I can't remember his TikTok handle, but it was like 420 dog or something like that. But he's just a dude with a camera drinking ocean spray cranberry juice on his skateboard, right?
Yeah.
And he used I can hear the song playing in my head. And you're gonna laugh because I actually don't like the band, Fleetwood Mac. The look of disappointment on your face.
Go on.
I know.
For the
and so he's just kind of cruising down the street, right? And this is something actually Gary talks about in his book, his latest book that he just came out with, is that guy wasn't actually going to post that. He wasn't going to do it. And he posted it and it ends up going viral. And then of course Ocean Spray was like, hey, like, this is because you had a bunch of people going out and they were like, imitating it and all this stuff. And so that right there for Ocean Spray would be earned media, right? Earned. They didn't do anything to get it.
So
somebody
good.
What?
It's so good when you earn it. When you
Yeah.
don't, when you don't have to live, like, as someone who does, it's like posting professionally, like when you don't have to lift a finger and it just happens, it's just like, oh.
It happens organically, and it happens in a way that actually shows your company in a good light, because obviously there is earned media that's probably not great if you do something bad. But that is a good example of earned media. Another good example of earned media is getting picked up in the news for something good, not something bad. Say, trotting out Bob Knakkel, but say Bob Knakkel shows up on Fox News, right? Or he shows up on MSNBC doing a thing about markets in New York City. That is earned media. He didn't have to pay for it. And then you can actually take that. You don't own it. You do not own it. It is owned by the company that published it, but you can take that and then you can share that on your socials. You could put it in an emailer. You can put it on your website. There's a lot of different things that you can do with that. So what the video was talking about, and maybe I'll find the link and share it later, so you guys can see it. But an executive from VaynerX was talking about how the model is changing. It is going from paid, owned, earned to owned, earned, paid. So we're going to break down what that actually means to you. We already explained what earned media is. It's exposure. We want to pay you an exposure. If you've ever done freelancing, we can pay you an exposure. Gee, thanks. I already exposed myself enough. Wait a minute. That didn't come out right. Earned media, you do not pay for, and you also do not fully control. Earned media could be anything from word of mouth. Obviously, we talked about media coverage. One thing that when I was doing a little bit of research on this that I found interesting is that you could actually look at reposts on your content as earned media. And I was like, oh, wow, like that is so good. Like, how many times has your content been reposted? Yeah. And thinking about it from that perspective, that it spreads your content out to a wider audience. Any shout outs, any reviews, any of that stuff is all earned media. How do you get earned media? Well, when we're talking about media coverage, you have to create relationships with reporters, with publications. That's how you get that earned media. When you become valuable and value driven and give that value across platforms, people are going to want to listen to you, right? Yep. Simple as that. You're going to have to post helpful and relevant content. And then really, you need to make it easy for people to talk about you. One of the challenges that I have on Instagram, and it's not my challenge that I have with the actual platform, it's with brokers on those platforms.
Okay, go on.
Who have their profiles private.
Just don't. Oh my God. Don't get me started.
Right? Yeah. Like if you're telling me that you want to be on Instagram and then I go look you up and your account is private, how the hell is anybody going to they're going to see your content? Like that has to be open. How are they going to find you? You can tell me you're putting all this content up, but if your audience is limited, guess what? Your audience is limited.
Yeah, for real. And like, there's ways to get around it too. Like I am 100% a proponent of posting your personal stuff on your business account. Like, obviously, right? Because again, this is a relationship business. This is a people business. Like, if what you do is essentially on the lowest common denominator, the same thing that everybody else does, if you're schlepping buildings, you know what I mean? Like, who you are as a person and how you show up and communicate that and express that online, like will be a differentiating factor. So, you know, but then, you know, it's like some people have a main account, some people have a side account, you know, like that, you know, but yes, if you want to be active on a platform and you're putting up those barriers of connection, like probably I'm going to move, like, well, probably I'm going to follow you and try to get in there for me. Right. But, you know,
because you're nosy like that.
I'm nosy, but yes, like you need to remove all of the friction to have people find you.
Right, exactly. And so if you want to have that earned media, then you absolutely need to make it easy for people to follow you, for people to find out who you are. Because again, that's the whole reason why you want to be on social. You want to be found. So we talked about earned media. Now we're going to talk about owned media. This is stuff that you control, right? This is your website. This is your blog. This is your email list. And now I'm going to put this in parentheses because while I'd love to say that you own your social media channels, that you own your YouTube channel, technically you do not own that, right? Like the content that you put on there, you own. But the minute that you put it on those social platforms, you technically do not own it because now it is owned by the platform. But no, it's not. Yes, it is.
Go read the fine print. Go read it.
Yep. Read the TOS. Read the terms of service. When you agree to put your content on there, yes, you're saying it's yours, but you're also saying that it's theirs, right? And that's been some controversy with Facebook saying that they were going to take people's posts and start, you know, using it in advertising. So I mean, there's always a catch, right? I think I saw Ken Ashley put it pretty succinctly on X last week or earlier this week. If the product is free, you are the product, right?
Yep.
If the product is free, you are the product. So just think about that when we're talking about social media. So the content that you are putting out there, yes, it is yours. You control it. You control how it's distributed. You control how it looks, all of that stuff. Why does having owned media, why do you need to know about this? Because did I freeze or did you freeze?
No, it was no. I mean, can you hear me? God damn it.
Okay, so Fly is taking a drink from Trep. There we go. Oh no, now she's gone. I'll keep going. She'll pop back in. I'll bring her back. So why does owned media, why is that important? Because algorithms change, platforms change. If Facebook or something dies tomorrow, and she's back. If LinkedIn took a big crap tomorrow, what would you do? Right?
I would cry. First of all.
Now imagine 10 years ago, if I had said that about LinkedIn, if LinkedIn took a crap tomorrow and you were like, I would die 10 years ago, you'd be like, what LinkedIn? I don't know anything about LinkedIn. But the thing is that you have to know where your content's being distributed and where it's being put out. And at any time, these platforms can absolutely go away, right?
Right. Like TikTok. That whole thing.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So the whole TikTok thing, right? That's why everybody was freaking out. And I'm just like, why are you freaking out? You should have omnipresent channels, right? Omnipresent means you're across all channels there. And I've talked about this before. There are there's different services that you can use. One of them is called repurpose.io. It's not one of my favorites, but it is, from what I hear, it's super easy to use. I didn't find the user interface very user friendly.
Yeah.
But I'm also used to like my systems and processes. And so I always try stuff and I'm like, if this isn't as good as what I'm already doing, then I'm not doing it. Dwayne, let's go ahead and check out what Dwayne has to say.
Let me see.
I entered social media before my attempt to drive my business. So it's only friends, not business. Therefore I don't weigh should I create? No, don't create another. Okay. So this is a really, really great point, Dwayne. And I say this, so Bob was talking last week, and he had a huge point, and I don't know if I talked about this yet. A lot of his audience is not on social media, so they're not getting the content that's being pushed out. So the question was, how do I reach that audience? through email and through letters, right? So your audience does not know what you do, right? You need to introduce that to your audience. And his whole point was, I think it was an email that went out and they were talking about the number of buildings that he had sold, or maybe it was a CoStar article. It was something earned media, CoStar article, that went out. And he was like, I didn't know you sold 2,300 buildings. And he was just like, how do you not know that? Like, like not in a bad way, but like we talk about it, right? Like,
I had a conversation with someone last week and they didn't know what the X Scala was, and which is fine, which is totally fine. But they were like trying to ask me about it, and I was like, it's okay, you're not online. It's okay. It's not important. You're not online. You're not online. It's fine.
You're not online. It's fine. It's fine. I'll try to explain it to you, but it's going to sound really weird. It's a bunch of people that don't know each other from the internet who met on the internet that are now meeting in real life.
Wild.
Right? So to Dwayne, to your point, I would start putting business on there and test it. That's the great thing too. You can always test stuff, and it's almost as simple as doing, hey, like, here's a reintroduction to me and my life, and this is what I do. You can always do that. And if you find that people are like, dude, I didn't know that, that's great. If you find out that people are like, I don't really care about your business, then you need to reevaluate how you're posting that content.
Can I pop in there with a thing too? The other thing too is like, and I don't know what, Dwayne, I don't know what platform you're specifically talking about here. Right. If we're talking about Instagram or another platform, whatever, right? LinkedIn is usually going to be more of your business relationships from the beginning usually. So you're probably talking about another platform. But there is a lot to be said about doing the posting, but also like building out your network, right? Like, you know, if you do not have an audience built out of the people that you're trying to reach, like you need to start folding in your prospects, folding in your existing clients, like go out and follow them. And, or you can be like, just announce it, right? Like, I'm going to start posting more of my business content on here. I'd love it if you follow me. Just make the ask. You know what I mean?
Yes. Make the ask.
And so, and this is how, and like, this is exactly how I got to this point right now, is I turned my personal Instagram into my business Instagram, and I started engaging with people in this community. Now I am more active on X and LinkedIn, for different reasons. But like, so mine goes LinkedIn, X, Instagram. But, the people, I get a lot of objection, or I hear a lot of hesitation from people about posting more about their business stuff, or posting personal stuff or whatever. It's like, if somebody who's your friend or in your life somehow like doesn't want to look at your business content, like, let them unfollow you.
Right.
Let them unfollow you. Like,
well, they're the same people that if you had your own business that they wanted your services, they'd ask for a discount.
Yeah. It's like, but using social media, to engage with your friends and family is, I mean, it's fine if you want to do that. But if you want to activate your social media presence to start to win more business, like, you have to be okay with it not being right for some people.
Correct. Love that.
That's
no notes on that one. It's not going to be right for some people. That's absolutely correct.
And I still, most of the people, I mean, I had a lot of unfollows. It was actually interesting when I switched my Instagram account from being just personal into being more focused on business. I always had a fluctuation of like some people from who had originally followed me, like unfollowing me, and then more people starting to follow me, right? So my follower count actually like has evened out from there. And now I have like inbound followers that I'm not going out to seek necessarily. I mean, I am going out to seek because I'm posting content that like I want them to come into my circle, right? But all my family and friends, like, we all know my dad's our biggest fan, you guys, right? It's like, people who are really invested in your life want to see you succeed. And,
Yes.
if you are really focused on your business, like, that's a great way for them to like stay in touch with what's going on with you.
Zelnick and Company joined us. Thanks, Steph, for being here. She says, good morning, Fly and Mo. That's our Graham fam. And ACTX also joined us, so appreciate you. We are talking about owned, earned, and paid media and why that model is changing. So we were just going over owned media. That's the stuff you own. That's your newsletter. That is your website. That is everything that you have there. And just as a little caveat, if you're posting on social media, you technically don't own it.
Yeah.
The social platforms own it.
And I want to pop in here really quickly on this point to say, yes, 100% Marcy Moneypenny, Mel Robbins, let them 100%. Just let them. I've been doing that. But so on the topic of owned media and going back to the point that Mo raised of like if LinkedIn just went poof, which good, TikTok just goes poof. You'd highly recommend two things. Keep an archive of your content. And two things that you can do to do that is like download the stuff that you post, go on Facebook. You can go on LinkedIn, although like LinkedIn, last time I checked, only has this for posts that you have photos on and not just text, but you can download an archive of your content history. I don't know the exact steps for all the platforms, but there is a way for you to go onto these platforms and download a file of everything that you've ever done. And it's very important that you do that for exactly the reasons that we've said. I also highly recommend, and this is maybe more applicable who people are maybe just on one platform or not using a scheduler or things like that, right? Don't write, draft, or edit directly in the app, because like I always try to write either in a Google Doc or in an email or in another place, and not directly in the what's on your mind, because if something happens or you flip out of this, I can't tell you how many tweets I've lost because some notification came up on my phone and I was like, ooh, shiny, what's that? And then I go back to the app and I'm like, oh, that was a banger and it's gone. So twofold, to stay in control of owning the content that you're putting out on these things, like have a backup, download an archive, and when you're writing a banger, do it in a spot that's not going to disappear if you close out of the app.
As a side note, the amount of times I've said banger in the last week has exponentially grown. So just saying, it's my new favorite word.
Bingo bongo.
Bingo bongo. All right, let's talk about paid media. This should be pretty self-explanatory. It's anything you pay to promote. Steph says, hate when that happens, hate losing a banger.
Yes, it's like pour one out for all the bangers that were never saw the light of day.
Because the idea just went so paid media is ads, sponsored posts, boosted content, even including, think about influencer collabs, because a lot of times with influencer collabs, they actually want cash, right? We actually touched on influencer campaigns. Steph says she's going to start incorporating banger into more conversation.
I am 100. This is the best possible outcome. Go on.
Ever. Okay. So we talked about influencer marketing last show, and I made a point of saying, hey, you can have influencers reach out to you, but you need to make sure that their core audience is the people that you're trying to reach. Because if you decide to go on or have something promoted on a page that their audience is largely, 13 to 18-year-olds, it's probably not, the people that are going to be buying your building or leasing your space, or, maybe they're looking at your warehouse for a rave. I don't know.
There's got to be a market for that. Oh, there's
actually that would be a lot of fun. Like you and I could have a lot of fun with.
Can I be a rave broker, a rave house broker?
Rave house broker. Yes, there we go. And you'll supply the music, of course.
100%. Or Adam Dunn.
So obviously paid media has a place. Why? You can get visibility really fast. The big caveat is if you don't know what you're doing with paid ads, highly recommend that you watch a couple YouTube videos, hire somebody. Do not hire me. I do not do paid ads. That is a full-time job. And you think I'm joking? No, I'm not. It is literally a full-time job, making sure that the content that you're getting pushed out it goes out on the correct platforms in the correct format. You have the right copy. It's not just one step. There's multiple steps, and then you have to actually test your audiences, right? The one thing I do love about Facebook advertising and the Facebook pixel is that it follows you around and it has some of the best reporting out there. And still to this day, dollar for dollar, it is probably the best marketing ad spend that you'll get. The other thing unstated here in this industry, I think, is I have a string and it's bothering me. The other thing that is very, I think, underutilized, that is the word I'm looking for, in particularly in commercial real estate, is magazine advertising, which you might be surprised. I used to be a media buyer, and the shelf life of magazines, even though magazines are somewhat dwindling, for those that are interested in them, the shelf life is like 2 years, right? And not only is it 2 years, but then they get passed around. It's like somebody will pick it up and they'll take it from somebody's house. Yes, that is theft, but it happens. They'll take it somewhere else, right? So
that's fair. This is a fair comment from Dwayne.
So I could see that. I could definitely see that because and he's got a little bit of a different market when we're talking about residential, right? A little bit
and
different.
He's got a show. It's a whole stack. Like there's a whole stack operating there too.
Yeah, and I can see where he's going with that. Absolutely. He's now, well, I don't necessarily know if he's a household name. If you work in real estate, he's definitely a known name, right? Before real estate, I had no idea who he was. I would never have seen his content on any of my platforms because that's not what I was into. So that he wasn't a known name to me until a couple years ago when my husband was selling houses. So there's something to be said for that. It depends on what you're paying for.
On the topic of magazines, so it's like, and I see what time it is. Maybe we should table that for another conversation. Let's do that. Let's not try to jam pack all the content into one go, but I would be very interested in continuing the conversation about print media, local media, things like that.
And I'm a big fan of local media. I absolutely am. I love local radio. I love local TV. I think it has a place, but a lot of people just don't know about it. And then they think that the barrier for entry is too high because they haven't talked to somebody. And they don't know about any of the contracts. They don't know any of that. So, I mean, literally, I could break all of that down. That would be a lot of fun.
Do it.
So we should do that on Tuesday. So we didn't actually get to everything. We've already been on here for quite some time. But owned media, earned media, paid media, you should know the difference. There will be a test later. Owned media, that is the stuff that you own. That's newsletters, websites, that's email marketing. That is the content that you create. Earned media is stuff that you do not pay for, the easiest way to explain it. So this is getting picked up in publications. This is getting reposts. Again, one of the things that I loved about that. And then you have paid media, which is stuff that you're actually paying for. You're boosting, you're doing ads, you want to reach an audience. That is all changing, right? From the paid, owned, earned to owned, earned, paid. And I actually think on Tuesday we'll talk about the owned, earned, paid and how it's all changing, because we actually went longer than I expected talking about all of these different things. If you guys have any questions, Fly and I are always online, always. Just DM us. We'll be available and you can ask us questions. Thanks to everybody who joined us today. And we shall see you on Tuesday at 6 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. Have a day, everybody.